Cooking from the Heart is brought to you by Centera Cancer Network. For more information about cancer care at Centera, call 888-220-2214.
If you're just joining us, we are focusing today on colon health. And here to help us with that is Dr. Gowder from Virginia Oncology Associate, which is part of Centera Cancer Network, right?
Yes.
Now, tell me a little bit more about that.
So our network is a group of cancer specialists, and our goal is to provide the very cutting-edge, world-class care to our patients and neighbors here in Hampton Roads.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, today we are cooking for our colon. We are going to make, either for lunch or for dinner, a lentil stew. We're going to put that on top of a bed of polenta. So I want to get my pot going first, and we're going to put that on about a medium high, like an 8 out of 10 if you have the numbers on your dial. Well, I like to try to get as much nutrition and fiber and all of that into my family through our food, but I know you can also take supplements. While we talk about that, let's add the 2 teaspoons of olive oil. I'm just going to add that to our pot. What do you think about fiber supplements as opposed to getting it through your daily diet? Which is better, or are they the same?
My view is that getting all your vitamins, nutrients, supplements, getting your macronutrients from your food is always better absorbed and better for you. So you always will do better if you are getting things through your diet. It sort of forces you to have a wide variety of foods in your diet.
It tastes a lot better too. Our oil is nice and hot, so we're going to put these carrots in there. This is 2 medium carrots. So it comes out to about half a cup of carrots. And I'm also going to add either 1 small onion or half of a medium onion that I've diced pretty small. I like to make the chops really small because it cooks faster that way. Now, Doctor, you were talking to me about Lynch syndrome, and I had not heard of that before. What exactly is that?
So Lynch syndrome is one of the most common inherited cancer syndromes. It actually affects about 1 in 400 Americans. So if you do the math, we're talking about close to 4,000 residents of Hampton Roads.
Oh, wow.
The issue with Lynch syndrome is you have a problem with DNA repair. You have a problem with the proofreading system of your genetic code. And with that, you can acquire mutations and build them up much faster than other people, and you're prone to developing colon cancer especially very quickly.
Oh, wow. That's something good to check for then.
Absolutely. And so patients who have a strong family history of colon cancers or some related cancers, we'll see them and talk about the best way to screen them for Lynch syndrome and how to keep them healthy.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic that you can do that kind of screening now. Now to this is nice and hot. I'm going to add about 4 ounces of lentils, which is about half of a cup. Just going to put that right in there and kind of stir it around. And then I have some vegetable stock, 5 cups. If you wouldn't mind passing me that. I'm just going to, if you can just pour it right there on top. Whoa. I do that all the time. Okay, and I'm just going to let that come up to a boil. Let me dry that off real quick. Now our lentils are boiling and we're getting a nice steam bath here, and it smells so good. And to this I'm going to add even a little more nutrition. We're going to add some quinoa. Do you cook with quinoa, or do you eat quinoa?
A little bit, yeah.
It's delicious. I use it in soups a lot, and it's actually a super grain. But it's important to know that you need to rinse your quinoa when you get it because it has a coating on it that has a very bitter taste. So you want to take it, even if it says it's rinsed, I always put it in a strainer, run it under water for a little bit until the water runs clear. And I'm also going to add, that was a 1/4 cup of quinoa. I'm also going to add a 1/4 cup of barley. I'm trying to get as much kind of fiber and texture in there too, because you want to eat something that has a nice kind of chew to it. So once that is all stirred in, I would let it sit for about 15 minutes. I'm going to turn the heat down to about a medium low, like a number 4. And if you want, pass me that red lid. I'm going to cover that and let that cook for a little while. And right at the end, I'm going to put in some kale, which is going to add just more calcium, more iron. It's so good and so healthy for you. Now it's been 15 minutes, and our quinoa and barley are starting to get nice and soft. Our lentils are starting to get soft, and we are ready to put in some of this kale. And actually, if you don't like kale, you can use spinach as well. I like to alternate them out so you get some variety. You could even mix them both in there. And I'm just going to put it right on top. It will look like a lot, but the heat is really going to wilt that down. But it just looks healthy, doesn't it? With all that green and the orange from the carrots. Get that going. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cover it, put it on low, and let it cook for about 25 minutes because you really need time for those lentils to absorb that liquid and to become nice and soft. While that cooks, I'm going to scoot it over and we're going to work on our polenta, which is going to be the bed for this delicious lentil stew we're making. So excuse me 1 second. Slide that over there. Okay, and in here I've got 3 cups of water. I'm going to bring those to a boil, and I'm going to add about 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So for polenta, it's kind of like almost a mashed potatoes, but it's made out of corn. It has a little more texture to it, and since it's made out of corn, it's going to have more fiber. I've got my 3 cups of water boiling, and I'm just going to add my polenta. So I'm going to ask you to be the whisker.
All right.
You be the whisker, and I'll be the dumper. And you want to kind of move quickly because it will plump up pretty quickly. Mix that all in there.
And just keep stirring
Just
continuously.
keep stirring until those clumps go away. I'm not doing the work today. So this is boiling, so you're going to turn it down. And polenta does need to cook a little while because the grain is rather firm. It's starting to get thick already. And I'm going to put a lid on that and let that go for about 15 minutes, and I'm going to add some cheese and butter to it. Now it's been about 15 minutes and our polenta is just about done, but I'm going to add a little flavor to it. And I'm going to add 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. You can use whatever kind of cheese you like, whatever makes you happy. I like this because it has a little bit of a sharpness to the flavor. And then I'm going to add not quite a tablespoon of butter. You can put a whole tablespoon in, but I'm always trying to cut the corners where I can and try to save some of those calories. So this is actually 2 teaspoons. Oop. I'm just going to give that a stir. All right, and we're just gonna let this sit for 5 more minutes and then we'll be ready to plate it all up and try it. It's been about 20-25 minutes and our polenta is nice and tender and our lentils are ready. So I'm gonna clear this off, make some room, and then we're gonna put them in a plate and find out if you like it. Okay, now let's start with some of this polenta. Put the lid back here. And you can see it's nice and creamy. That cheese and butter have really incorporated into that. And we're just gonna put this right in our bowl because the lentils are gonna sit right on top of that. And usually I'll put, gosh, like about 1/2 cup in there. And this pot would be enough for 4 servings. And if you need more, just double it, you know, as much as you need. Slide this over here, and we'll bring the lentils over. So those are bubbling away. They smell pretty good, don't they? All right, so I'm gonna just spoon that right there on top of the polenta. There we go, and there's our dish. What do you think?
That's fantastic.
Wanna give it a try?
Absolutely.
But before we eat this, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today and for teaching us so much about colon cancer and preventing and awareness. It's so important. So thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
There you go. Let me know what you think. Make sure you get some of the polenta in there.
Absolutely.
Might be kind of hot. You good?
You have the chew of the lentils and the soft, creamy polenta. They go great together.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like it. I'm sure you'll like it too. And thank you for joining us. Now, if you missed any part of this or want to get any other recipes, check us out on cox11.com or cookingfromtheheart.tv. Don't forget to like me on Facebook. And remember, you don't have to be a trained cook or chef to prepare delicious, healthy meals for your family. You just got to cook from the heart.